approaching. Are we ready for this? The season is approaching, and we are ready for some real results soccer from Orange County. Hopefully, with pending strikes and all that interesting stuff. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to get ready and hyped up for the season. Let's just get this thing started. Welcome to the show, champions. This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the first and only show dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I promise you, I'm going to be better here. I'm rusty. I haven't done this in a while, but we're going to get this thing going. Let's have some fun. Helping us out on this episode, we've got first Dylan. Dylan, ¿cómo estás?
Está bien. Ray, you don't need to be better. You need to be best. I think the First Lady would love it if you were to be best, to be being best. Not really sure. Does anybody know at this point? I don't know. Also, if being long-winded is a bad thing, which I did not realize, I have not shut up in the 8 years that we've been doing the show. So if it is in fact a bad thing, everyone else's response made me thinks yes. My apologies, Danny Stone. Please don't change. I do, in fact, love your answers. And finally, Ray, do you need some better internet at the house? Because maybe Cityside Fiber can hook you up.
Oh, I trust me. I would love to have Cityside Fiber come and install some of that fiber optic network here where I live. I've been begging for that, but we're not here to talk about just that. Although they are, I believe, a great sponsor for Orange County Soccer Club. We have some other people helping us out on this episode, and let's see who's next. Oh, we've got Brad. Brad, how are we doing, my man? Long time no chat.
I'm back. Oh, I'm feeling nice and refreshed after an off season and plus 1 week for me because I went on a boat.
Dylan, I got to hear you now.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions. Brad, how much did you have to drink?
Actually not that much. Like maybe now that I think about it, more than I thought I was gonna have, but less than I typically would.
Okay, so what are we talking, like 5 or 6 bottles of Malort then?
At least.
Ooh, nice. Attaboy.
Now, the more important question is, did you party like Dylan does when he's on a boat? We have one other person helping us out on this episode, and that is one of our newest members of the team, official members of the team, and that's Mr. Elder Matt. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good, man. Just ready for a season to start, you know? It's the depressing off season of just having to wait, and we're here now. So excited to get into it.
It's always hard. The off season, I believe, is always hard because of just having to wait. You're waiting for the news. I believe before we went off the air for 2025, we had some gripes from some of my fellow co-hosts about the way the announcements are made for the roster. We finally have a better idea of what this roster looks like for Orange County. Probably, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say probably most of us still see some gaps in this roster or some concerns in this roster at this point. As typical with Orange County Soccer Club, it typically takes a month or two into the season before you really figure out what the roster is going to look like for the home stretch. So hopefully we see some more, or maybe, who knows, maybe this is our roster and maybe we're just missing out. Maybe there's a diamond in the rough that we're going to see a few weeks into this season. Thank you, producer Andy, bringing up what we knew from the returning and new players that were coming in. I believe the club announced it as a record number of returning players, which I believe, Dylan, when we started the show, it was very rare to have like 5 returning players from the previous season. And now it seems like over the last few years, we're getting a majority of roster returning. Let me ask you this. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Because you could win either way, right?
You really can. And I think even the parity in the West means that one year you might finish 10th and have some bad luck, or even just be bad, and the next year it might turn around and you might finish first. Or, as we learned in 2022, you could win the cup and run it back relatively and not do so great. So, it's better. If the only player that comes to mind as a returnee in 2018 from 2017 would be Casey Byers. I know there's another one or two, but he's our backup goalkeeper is the only person that I can remember returning in 2018.
Let me ask you this, Brad. Being that we have a lot of familiar names and faces returning for the upcoming season, is the more important thing that we're looking at here is the health of players? Because obviously in 2025, health was a big reason for some of the struggles. We had a lot of key players that I think we were all putting a lot of weight on to carry a heavy load for this team. Names like Grayson Duty, names like Liam McKinnon, names like Kevin Partita, players that missed big chunks of time. What's his Tom Brewitt missed a big chunk of time during the season, right? So we have these players that missed some chunks of time that I think we were relying on. Is health a more important thing when you look at the returning roster? Staying healthy, is that going to be what leads us to be successful in 2026?
I was wondering if there was a question in that long-winded rant, Ray. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing players like Grayson Duty, who really had their season cut early. Liam McKinnon, who really didn't get that playing time I think he deserved. When we see those players on the pitch, we'll kind of see what the plan was for last year. And I think the team overperformed last year given the injury history that we had. So definitely looking forward to seeing kind of the what would have been, and seeing so many players return is really just a boon for the team.
And I apologize if y'all discussed this stuff last week. I wasn't around for it, so that's why I'm just curious
Neither was I.
on some of this. I want to ask Matt this question. Knowing what we know with the roster so far, obviously, again, we're anticipating probably a few more things. There's some trialists that we don't know the official names of players yet that may or may not make the roster. But when you look at this roster and we break it down into attacking, midfield, defense, and goalkeeping, Matt, which area of the pitch scares you the most heading into the start of the season here in a few days, hopefully?
Ooh. I
can give you my answer if you want to think
similar.
about it.
No, I feel similar to last year. I think all over the pitch, really, we have this problem where, like, if we can have our starting 11 every week, I'm pretty confident, or I feel good. It's the moment we lose a center back or, maybe midfielders. I think I'm a little more comfortable there. The depth, again, is kind of where we're at this year, where, we could have a really strong season if, like you said, Brewitt stays healthy, a lot of those starters stay healthy, Duty comes back, all that. It's as soon as we kind of get to the parts of the season where things get a little busier or a couple injuries rack up, it's where I start to get a little, I don't know, we'll see. Ray's frozen.
Because of specifically the roster makeup,
You cut out
but
there, Ray.
the injury aspects. I apologize
You froze for a
if
second.
I got cut off there. Defense is where I'm nervous heading into the season, just because we're like an injury away from maybe having to rely on some unproven talent. Nothing against like a Tyson Espy or Mo War, who has been seeing some time on defense in the preseason. I think they're capable players, but it's you don't have a lot of depth in that area. And as we learned last year, when our defense struggles, we tend to struggle. We went into last season thinking, hey, our defense is going to struggle, but we have an attacking minded roster, and we couldn't score goals other than that opening match. And then it was a struggle. I think this team really needs a strong showing from their defense. And I'm hoping that the players are healthy, and the players that are the depth, when they get the opportunities, they can step up and do really good for us. Because
knock on wood, but like Duty goes out, Guimaraes is gone at some point during the season. Duty has any setbacks or anything like that. Mo moves to right back. Then now we're short on depth up front, or like kind of towards the top of the team. Like, yeah, we could see a little domino effect with a couple injuries that start to get a little nervous. But we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. That is coming up soon. And if you haven't noticed, I keep saying hopefully when it comes to the start of the season, because for those that follow USL Championship, there's been talks, I believe, there's no like concrete word that there will be a strike, but I believe what it is the players have voted to approve a strike if it comes to it. I believe it was like 90% of the players association said that they approve a strike if necessary. Where this comes from is the collective bargaining agreement between the league and the Players Association. I believe this has been going on for months now. It's not something where it's like it just expired and they're just now trying to figure it out. It's been something that's been going on for quite some time. There's been no resolution on it. And if anyone that watches sports, especially in the United States, strikes are a thing. Strikes can happen and it can impact a season. We've seen it in the NBA. We've seen it in the NFL. We've seen it in Major League Baseball. Rest in peace to the Montreal Expos because of the most recent major baseball strike that happened that sort of doomed that team. Dylan, at this point, how scared are you of a potential like when I say scared, do you think the season will be impacted by any kind of stoppage of play or anything like that? Or are you pretty confident that we're going to see a play this weekend?
I feel like we might see a work stoppage. I feel like that's a pretty realistic expectation.
Brad just went on strike.
Yeah, Brad just went on strike. I can't blame him. Honestly, the fact that none of us are getting paid. I mean, Ray, it's maybe time for us to talk about a minimum contract or a minimum wage here. But in all seriousness, yeah, I imagine that we will see a work stoppage because while it does not benefit them, especially those players who are on more performance-based contracts, it does in fact also hurt ownership as well when suddenly things grind to a halt. And we are going to see this across a handful of leagues. It's not just the USL. I think the WNBA is about to. All signs are pointing towards Major League Baseball is going to do this at the end of the year. So, such is life. Here we are. We will wait and see, and we'll see how much negotiation is actually occurring in good faith.
Brad, I'm curious of what you have your thoughts on this. Are you anticipating a work stoppage like Dylan, or are you more confident that we will still see some action this weekend?
Yeah, for me, I'm not going to weigh in on whether or not it's going to happen. More so, I think both sides do realize that a work stoppage is in neither of the parties' interest. The league doesn't have the finances to be able to cut off games, and the players really need, the job in order to support their way of life. Beyond that, like, I know the players voted 90%. It's a very popular amongst the players, and therefore, I anticipate if something can't happen, I believe tomorrow there is a federal third-party negotiator that's helping out both sides, or mediator, sorry. So we'll see what tomorrow brings, and if things truly aren't within reach after tomorrow's conversation, I wouldn't be surprised if March 7th did not mark the beginning of the 2026 campaign.
For those who don't know, totally not me, is this just a USL specific thing, the USL Championship, or is it
all
the extent of this?
USLPA representatives? So I believe USLC, USL League One,
Yeah.
and maybe USL League Two, but that season obviously is way further down the line from him now.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I'm always on the side of root for the players when it comes to these type of things. I will say on the side of that, though, when we get to, oh, hey,
just to clarify, the championship contract, championship A
you're cutting out.
the League One CBA is still in effect. They may still strike, Anyway, just
Okay.
Yeah. Here's my thought on all this is as the league grows and as they move from the infancy stage to now they're trying to be a big boy in the world of sports and competing against MLS with the announcement of a premier division and promotion relegation. This is part of that growth is you now have the Players Association that's going to ask, hey, if you are ready to be that big player in the sports world, then you're ready to also provide this type of pay, these types of benefits, these types of guarantees to the players. Again, the hope is that something can come together, whether it is a ratified contract that both sides agree on or some sort of temporary extension of that contract to not impact the season while there's still good faith negotiation between the two sides. That is the ultimate hope as the fan, and as someone that wants to see the success of the USL and USL Championship and the tiered system that they want to provide. Because again, like I was joking earlier, rest in peace Montreal Expos, but we have seen as American sports fans, or in that case, Canadian sports fans, of what a work stoppage can mean for sports. And with what we've seen over the years with USL Championship sides, I could imagine a prolonged work stoppage would be very impactful on a number of teams at this level, where you would potentially see teams that will, temporarily suspend operations, which we all know what that means in real words is bye-bye. But that's the big concern I have for me if there is a prolonged work stoppage when it comes to this. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we have to talk about it because it's out there, it's known, and we know that this is a potential that's going to happen.
Yeah,
any
that's what I
last
was gonna
thoughts on
say
any of
is-
this? Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, like I said, I always side with the players in these, especially when we're talking MLB or these type of things. But these teams will survive. They can definitely afford to pay their players more or better conditions. A lot of these things. In these situations, while I still side with the players, I do get a little more nervous in a little bit more of a volatile situation with, a smaller league like this one. So hopefully it all works out and everybody can get what they want.
Well, let's talk about this. If it all works out and if there is a start to the season I believe the first match of the season would be on Friday evening, if I'm correct, or is it Thursday? It's one of those two. I know that it's not waiting till Saturday. I know there is a match pre-weekend to kick off the season. If everything happens and we have a start to the season, Orange County opens their season at home at Championship Soccer Stadium against Brad's Las Vegas Lights. And I know you're not a Las Vegas Lights fan, but that's where you're from, Brad. That's why I say Brad's Las Vegas Lights. Apparently we're supposed to see the new configuration of the stadium. Although for anyone that was at the preseason match this past weekend, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on that. But from what I have heard and from sources that have shared information, it should all be ready. What are your thoughts? I'm going to ask Matt, as a longtime fan of Orange County, supporter of the team, what are your thoughts on this commitment to expanding the seating in the stadium and sort of making it more like a true home stadium and not just a stadium that you're renting from the city?
Yeah, that's a step in the right direction. I've always said that we should definitely fill out as much as we can, and the other side, I hope at some point gets its own stand or whatever it might be. But yeah, any steps towards making it a little bigger, a little roomier, especially with closing off the corners and making it kind of more of a bowl, I think is a cool little thing. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Excited to see what it looks like. I wasn't there on Saturday, so I wasn't sure how it looked or if it's up yet. But yeah, I'm excited to see what it's like. Let's get standing there.
Dylan,
Let's get making some noise.
Dylan, I don't mean to like throw shade at you. You've been a longtime fan of and supporter of this team as well, although you don't get to come to as many matches anymore. What are your thoughts of the expansion of seating at Championship Soccer Stadium, including a special section where I guess if you purchase the season ticket, you get a plaque with your name on that seat, which is a pretty neat little treat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to slant you any for this because, I mean, I live even further away than Matt does at this point. So, it's hard for me to get there. Ultimately, I think of the places I've been fortunate enough to travel and have visited and have watched matches at, the more intense, the more that the home fans back the home team, kind of the better things are overall. So it will feel less like Irvine the more that Orange County Soccer Club moves into that stadium. And when we are talking about a professional sports league with real life, consequences and benefits, then yes, being less like Irvine is absolutely a absolutely a win in this regard. So, I mean, do I know when I'm going to get down to the stadium this year? No, because life is unpredictable. But I do look forward to hopefully a few more fans being packed when they're alongside me, and still slipping on the bleachers. They can never change that, and no plaque, however grippy it is, could ever save my ankles.
But if someone wants to purchase like a season ticket for one of those seats and on the plaque put Orange and Black SoccerCast instead of the name, we will accept that as a gift. Brad, I want to get your thoughts on the modifications to the stadium. Here's what I'm most excited about with all of this, though. It's going to be a more enclosed feel now. When you close off those two corners next to Gnarlyville in the supporter section, and then you're going to have like a third of the goal line side that's on the fan zone area now with seats. You're going to start feeling like a more enclosed stadium, which I'm hoping that provides a more intense atmosphere for the traveling teams as you have more fans making noise. There's not these open spaces that just sort of make it feel like a community park, and it makes it feel more like a traditional stadium where it's all enclosed around all the sides like that, which is really cool. Brad, thoughts on the stadium before we move on and actually talk about the match this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to go see it this year, actually make it out to a game unlike last year. Beyond that, I just really, really hope that the team is working towards D1 field size and requirements, because that's something that I think the majority of us want to see, even if we don't believe the current solution will satisfy, what the league's looking for.
I hate to burst your bubble, Brad, and anyone else, but I honestly don't think Orange County is aiming towards D1 aspirations when it comes to the organization. I think they are content being at that second division level. Obviously, when you go to D1, there's more financial responsibility, more needs on there, and I just worry if that is something that is the aim. That's difficult to maintain and get as Orange County Soccer Club, because we've talked about in this past, Dylan, I'll let you talk right now, but we've talked about in the past, Orange County fans already have too much, like sports fans have too much going on, where they might not be willing to now spend $40 a match instead of the great discount that we have at our current level of spending less than $20 a ticket for a match. Go ahead, Dylan.
Well, I mean, are the Angels even a professional baseball team at this point?
No.
I mean, technically they are, but
I was going to say Ray wants to see two teams in Division 2.
Yeah, I was like, sorry, are they even a top flight baseball team at this point? I mean, not with the, anyway. I mean, we're talking pro rel, but we are, not first, before we're even talking pro rel, we are talking about professional standards. So, we'll cross that bridge if the league can get to that point. It is certainly an attractive option, but you gotta pay and provide for your players before you can promote them.
There we go. Start of the season, again, as long as everything goes as hoped, and Orange County opens at home against Las Vegas Lights. I know this wasn't the original plan, but after the schedule was released, I believe both LA and Orange County said, hey, let's start the season on, I believe it's the 7th of March is this Saturday. I'm going to go to you first, Brad. You're, as the person that probably knows the most about Las Vegas Lights. I don't know how much you know about them or how much you've heard from them living in the area. And as we're talking about this, producer Andy has brought up the preseason results for Orange County. We're not going to really talk much about that because it's the preseason A, and there wasn't a lot of success out there for Orange County as far as the results. But again, it's preseason. Who knows what to expect out of that? Brad, Las Vegas coming to town. From what you know about this team, what you've seen on the local coverage, should Orange County fans be scared of this opponent?
Las Vegas has always been a little bit of a question mark. The one thing we do know is Kyle Scott plays for them now. And I mean, Kyle Scott's Kyle Scott. He's a playmaker. And, beyond that, not really is known much about what they've done this offseason, at least by me. So I'm probably not the person you want to ask that.
We did this
Perfect.
last week while you guys weren't here, but we did place bets on when Kyle Scott would get booked. I believe
10th
Matt went with 45 or so just after the start of the second half. I went with 30 minutes. Ray, you're going with 10 minutes here. Larry, I think, said 15.
Brad's going
Brad,
to
you
67.
say a number.
He's saying 67.
Is
Thank
that
you.
what- Okay, all right.
I get it.
Uh,
I know what these young kids do.
Hey,
these days.
Brad.
When does
People
Partita get
sometimes listen to the podcast in which
Yep,
you making weird hand gestures is gonna be.
Audio, text narration. Brad was doing the 6-7 symbol with his hands.
Second
Here's-
question: When
Feels
does
like
when
a
does Partita
horrible
get
human
one,
being.
and who gets one first?
Partita.
Yeah, that's
scrapping with each
fun.
other.
That is fun. Partita versus Scott in the midfield. Who's
What if they
gonna
foul
get
each other
first?
and they both get
Oh.
yellow carded at the same time?
It's two very poorly timed 50-50 challenges going into each other.
But after what we saw in the playoffs from Chris Hagar, he can get involved in this as well with the sort of housery in the middle of the pitch there and causing some cards. Let me ask this of Matt. Wait, let me ask you this, Dylan and Matt. Who's the longer tenured fan or supporter of Orange County? It's Matt, right?
Yes.
2015.
Okay.
Definitely
So I'm going to
Matt.
ask you this, Matt, as the longest tenured supporter of this club. Do we get to give Kyle Scott some love at the beginning of the match and then boo him the rest of the match, or do we boo him from the get-go?
You're asking the wrong person. I fucking love Kyle Scott. He's a Chelsea boy. So I'm always someone who I've talked to Blaine about this before. I would say never during the 90 minutes. I do like the idea of like a before the game, but if nothing else, absolutely afterwards. I think he's definitely on that list of like deserving of that type of treatment. Maybe not. He's not an Orozco or anything like that, but he is someone who's been with the club, was with the club long enough. Didn't leave on like any nasty note or anything like that, so I don't see why you wouldn't. But never during the 90.
And I only asked this, and we've had this debate in the past, right, Dylan? We talked about it when it was like Aiden Quinn was I think we brought this conversation up when he returned. Do you give him love, like one initial bit of love and then hate him the rest of the match, or how that works? The hard part with all this is Kyle Scott seemed to be a strong ambassador for Orange County support, loved the supporters, gave his all out there in the pitch. It wasn't someone like that maybe Dylan wasn't the biggest fan of. I think Dylan in his mind of like a Harry Forrester who maybe was giving only 50% of his energy out on the pitch. Maybe you don't give that kind of love, but you felt like Kyle Scott was giving 110% every time he was out there for your team. And at some points, he was literally the only person out there giving his all for Orange County because of injuries and whatnot. Dylan, you were going to say something about all this for Kyle Scott.
I feel like I have whiplash. I couldn't even figure out who you were talking about until you actually named them. I was thinking like Albie Skendi, and I was like, I don't know, man.
Hey, Albie Skendi ran, apparently.
Sure. Great. I will say that it is very weird and very embarrassing behavior to chant for a player that is no longer yours, especially one that wasn't, I should say during the match, but especially one that didn't like come up through your academy. Wasn't actually, he's just a guy that happened to play for Orange County for a few years, which is great. But this is different than like an Aaron Cervantes situation or a Bryce Jameson situation where they truly are like they've done that. And even then, it's still really embarrassing when you sing for the player that's playing against you. It just doesn't make
the only thing I would amend is two things. One, there's like maybe a tier that I would maybe allow it for. I don't even know if I could think of an example where it's like someone who you've really like, who's been with the club forever, won you a championship, that type of thing. Like an Orozco, if he would have played for somebody after, like I would do it during the 90. Like there's a top tier. The other thing too is like when they get subbed off, maybe like I think I maybe would have started a Calvillo chant when he got subbed off one time, and it was like that to me. Like, you know, you see moments where you give them like a standing ovation as they come off the pitch and they play for the other team. Okay, that's fine. But like singing their name during the game, like in the first 10 minutes, they're like taking a corner towards our section. Like, no, I would never do that. But yeah, maybe when they're coming off the pitch after the game, before the game. Yeah, just depends on the tier of player, I think.
Well, we might not have to worry about singing for players that are playing against us, but we could sing for a player that is playing for us this season, and that is none other than your number 9, Ethan Zubak, who may or may not be joining us. We hope he's here. I was hoping this was going to be a better segue already, but it got there in the end.
Hello, I'm actually.
We got there in the end. Ethan, welcome back to the Orange and Black SoccerCast.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thanks for being
glad
here.
you could join us.
Yeah, we're in preseason form, so we hope you're doing a little bit better than us right now.
Yeah, fair. No, I'm doing good. You know, it depends on, I guess, how you're asking me how I'm doing, you know, whether it be soccer or life, but no, life's good.
You've had a big year since we last talked to you, I think. So please fill us in on everything. We would actually love to hear it for those who maybe aren't aware.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess the biggest thing is that I'm a dad, so just super pumped about that. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, my son just turned 7 months old a couple days ago. He's getting big. He's a chunky little guy. So yeah, it's just been the whole thing of now, you know, juggling fatherhood and playing. But it's been a great journey. And now that he's, you know, a little bigger, a little more aware, I think it's going to be cool to bring him out to games this season and have him be kind of a part of that whole process. So I'm just pumped for that.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. You know, after the match, after a big win, you could bring him out on the pitch with some of the other kids that we've seen out on the pitch and have some fun, enjoy the grass, kick a soccer ball around. We'd love to see the next generation of a Zubak soccer star here. Let me ask you this, Ethan. You've been with the club a few years now, and in your time with this club, it seems like we are a second half of the season club, a club that gets off to a little bit of a slower start. Basically, you guys put your back against the wall and you guys decide, hey, let's start winning and let's make the run to the playoffs, which I'm not saying that's the plan, but that's what it always seems like. Coming back into the season with a record number of returning players, how do y'all get the mentality or get the focus to let's not do that again? Let's come in and start from the get-go and let's put ourselves up top early and not have to fight at the end of the season and put all that stress on us.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you know, I would definitely say that the past couple of seasons, I don't think our plan was to put our backs up against the wall. But saying that, we did it, and I think in large part has to do with the fact that we're just a team that doesn't have a big roster every year. Well, to be fair, in 2024, I thought we actually had a big roster, and it was a more senior roster, but dealt with a lot of injuries at the beginning of the year. And then we went through coaching changes, which I think was a struggle. And then at the end of the year, when Danny came in and we had a healthy roster, it was, you could see the quality of the team. And, you know, we went, whatever it was, 10 or 11 games unbeaten. The loss in Colorado in the playoffs was tough, but I mean, things had gone a different way. You know, certain moments in that game, maybe we even win that game and things are changed. But yeah, it's so interesting because now the club was already, I feel like a youth, you know, a youthful club, but it's gotten even more so every single year. Last year was more so than 2024, and this year I think is even more than last year. So it's one of those things where we're, I guess we're a limited roster and then we're young at the same time. So it's really about just finding that that click and that chemistry early on. Like you said, we do have turnover this year, which is good. But yeah, we still have a lot of young guys. So we're hoping that we could hit the ground running and that it's it's a good group that meshes together well. But Yeah, it's definitely our plan to hit the ground running faster than we have the past couple of years, because it puts us in a tough position where we really have to go on some good streaks to make the playoffs and do well. And our goal shouldn't just be to make the playoffs. It should be to, get a home game, try to win the conference. It's ambitious, but we're out here, and that should be the goal every single time we get out there.
Yeah, and I think fans, we see that we understand that this club is a balance between competing and being strong, but also providing a pathway for those young players. And I think because Orange County has proven that they can develop young players and send them on to bigger and better things, you're seeing more talented young players decide, hey, let me go play with Orange County. You get someone like a Tyson Espy that comes over from the LAFC Academy. You get a few other youngsters that are jumping on. We see Pedro's going to be moving on over the summer because of what he's proven. What's it like to get some of these young players and know these young players actually are going to make an impact? And I can rely on this 16 or 17-year-old to actually come out and be solid for us. How does it feel as a more veteran player when you have those types of players that you can rely on at such a young age?
Yeah, it's pretty insane to see, because I started playing professional games pretty early on, like around some of these guys' age, like 17 or so. But when I was starting as a 17-year-old, it just felt like a different game to me. Like adjusting to the men's game was, especially my first year, I think it was in 2015, was super difficult. It was hard. I was really good in the youth system, but then you make that step, and it's people think faster, obviously. Guys are bigger, more athletic. It's just a whole different game. So the fact that some of these guys, I'll highlight names, especially Jameer Johnson. So far, I'm just insanely impressed with. Not just his abilities, but it's more so the way he can think and the decisions that he can make. Yeah, I'm just super impressed with it. Tyson, he's a good player. That especially according to roster depth right now, I think we'll get opportunities this year to really develop. And there's other kids. I mean, Mateo's still young, and we just brought him in. He's a good player. I mean, I can go on and on. These guys are really good players, and that's truly what they're going to need this year is going to be minutes, because training's one thing, but being prepared and being ready for game time is a whole nother. So I do think that these guys will definitely be ready. Mateo already has so many games, I believe, at Next Pro. Next Pro is different, but especially those other two young guys, the more they get minutes, I think they're just the more and more reliable that they're going to become, and they're already unbelievably talented kids who have bright futures.
All right, I believe it's my turn to ask some questions. I am fact checking myself real quickly on something. I believe the USL show placed the team at just missing playoffs this season. Obviously, I think us as a group disagree with that. But I wanted to ask you your personal goals and your realistic team goals going into 2026 in the campaign this upcoming week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always going to be predictions. Everyone always has, an opinion. I would say, our goals, like I said earlier, our goals are always ambitious. I mean, whether people would agree with us or not, I just don't think it really matters to us. We want to be, and I think the main goal is to have home playoff games, or at least a home playoff game. That would be awesome. It's really a tough one. I feel like the thing that is always hard to gauge is that USL it's just an unpredictable league. Like teams every year, like a team that was, bottom of the table the prior year can be one of the best teams in the league the next year. Like El Paso in 2024 was absolute garbage. And then in 2025, they're like one of the best teams in the league with one of the most electric offenses in the league. Like things just change so much. Dynamics in the league are just crazy. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. Now that we're actually going to start getting regular season games in, I mean, regular season games are just so different from preseason games. And the only preseason game that we got in against the USL side was El Paso. And they were a good side. I actually thought that they were good when we played them. So it's just gonna be interesting. We have goals and we have high aspirations, I'd say, but reality is always, it's always its own beast. So whenever we get there, we're just gonna take it one game at a time.
And then I know I alluded to it, but do you have any personal goals? I know our good friend DK here at the Orange and Black SoccerCast sings your praises, and he's always got you down for at least double digits every season. But do you typically quantify any goals for yourself going into a season? And, if you are comfortable, go ahead and share those goals with the group so we can hold you accountable.
Yeah, for sure. You got to have goals. I feel like probably every guy on the team has goals for what they want the campaign to be like. I would definitely say double digits is always good. If you're having a double digit goal scoring season in USL, I think that's a good year. But yeah, it would be nice to beat out the last couple of years. I think that's my goal this year, is to get more than the last couple of years. Just because I want that positive progression, and again, I want to be that goal scorer for the team. And then another goal I have is to be more of a contributor in an assist line of view as well. I think that I have playmaking ability. And sometimes as a 9, you don't get to showcase that as much, but I would love to get some more assists on the table and just be a guy that's, still central to our attack. So those would probably be my main goals, especially individually. And then my other goal is just to stay healthy this year as well. Like, I've been, fortunate to be healthy the last couple of years. I think I had, a stretch of games where I missed because of my ankle last season, but for the most part, I've stayed healthy. So a big thing for me is availability and just being out there to be able to help the team, whenever the team needs me.
All right. Thank you so much, Ethan. Let me just apologize. I don't mean the words hold you accountable as in a negative connotation. I think the group here all knows we want to know what your confidence level going into the season is, and we're really looking forward to seeing you break, your own personal goals this year, because we all truly believe in you. I think Larry was going to go next.
Hey guys, I showed up. I'm a little bit late. Ethan, my guy, how you doing, buddy?
Larry, I'm good, man. Good to see you.
You too. Sorry I didn't get here a little bit sooner. Had a little bit of a conflict going on. So listen, we were not able to get you on the show last year, even though I talked with you about it in January of last year. So we got to get you back on. Then you had to go and you had a baby and you got hurt and you got busy. How is Harrison doing? How is he?
Yeah, he's doing great. I mean, I feel like there's always something new every day that he's doing, and it's just great, man. Like, I love coming home every day after training and I get to pick him up and see him. So he's just doing awesome. I was telling the guys, he's this chunky little guy that's just love to hold and be with all the time. So it's just.
We lost him.
This is your fault, Larry.
Apparently it's my fault.
Oh no.
Ethan, come back. We can hear you.
Dang.
I think.
Let me turn my Wi-Fi off.
The beauty of live shows here is sometimes having a great conversation with someone like Ethan Zubak from Orange County Soccer Club and technical issues. So we'll see. Maybe we'll be able to get him back on, and hopefully
this is
Larry's
not my
question
fault.
Didn't end the interview. But while we're hoping or waiting to see if we can get Ethan back on, Larry, welcome to the show. We talked about it earlier. Well, let's see. Because
there we go. Can you guys hear me
now to get Ethan back on? We can hear you. Can you hear us, Ethan? Don't know if he's able to hear us.
I can't hear anyone right now. If anyone's talking. Dang.
Well, let's do this. Larry. Where did Larry go now? We lost Larry. Dylan, what was Larry going to say next?
I don't know. I think he's just going to keep broing out or something. You know how Larry is with these guys. In all seriousness, I do love that we do have such a great relationship with the players. And maybe we can continue Ethan, can you hear us?
Okay. I don't know what the heck is going on.
Well,
Are you able to hear us,
we've
Ethan?
tried.
There we go.
Uh,
He's trying. Which you can appreciate when someone tries to fix a technical issue. Larry, now that you're back,
you guys want me to try for my laptop?
Yeah, I mean,
can try that.
if that'll work, Ethan, absolutely.
while we try to get
Go
Ethan
ahead,
back
Ray, you were gonna ask
on
me
the
something.
stream and hear from him. Yeah, Larry, I was going to ask you how confident you are that we're going to have a start to the season this weekend. And there he is. Let's bring Larry back on. There's Larry.
I can't hear anything.
This is great.
Okay, Larry can't
if you
hear us
guys
either.
thought that Orange County's preseason was stop start, I mean, this show is stop start. This is something. Is the Orange and Black SoccerCast going to win a cup this year? Ray, are we going to win a cup?
Are we going to win a cup? Well, let's talk about that because
No.
Open
Is the
Cup.
podcast going to win a cup? Not
Oh,
Orange County Soccer
show.
Club, but
You know, if we can find a way to bring back the EUSL, maybe I can win us a cup on that, and you and Brad and Matt can do some play-by-play for us again.
You guys have
I
made
think
some
that
great
would- that would work.
signings, so if I say so myself.
just one, really, and you personally. Maybe Wendy could bark along,
You know,
she's in tired form.
Yeah, she's like passed out right there. You know, the fun thing is we actually only have all of us are homegrown, I believe, except for one, and that's Brad. Brad's the only one that we actually signed from another podcast. Let's talk really quick about this. The match against Vegas. Results. What do we think the results are going to be? Score-wise, who's going to be the hero for Orange County? Or is it going to be Kyle Scott for Vegas that's the hero? Let me go to you first, Dylan.
Why not? He was here, and he's certainly trying. And I do believe that there's some magic into being a parent. So why not? Ethan Zubak. I do think it's going to take some experience, and it's going to take our experienced players to get us through the first few matches of the season. So there's as the fourth most senior player on the team by age. Why not?
And let's remember the first match of last season was a absolute banger for Orange County, as I think we have Ethan back on the show now. Ethan, are you able to hear us? It looks like you can.
Yeah.
It's
better this time.
We were just going to talk about this Vegas match and give our predictions on that, but I'm not going to ask you to predict that match. I know Larry had his question. You were halfway through answering it. I don't know if there was anything else you had to respond to Larry, or if Larry had another question for you.
I actually had one other question. Last week when Danny was on the show, Ethan, I threw some names out at him. Okay? I'm going to throw a couple names at you right now, and I want you to tell me what they have in common. Ethan Zubak, Milan Olaski, Michael Seaton.
Ooh. That's a good question. Oh. I don't know. Highest goal scorer in a season for Orange County SC?
Negative. They are the only 3 goal scorers to score double digits in multiple seasons for Orange County Soccer Club. All 3 of you have done it twice, and Brad already alluded to a double-digit season. If you do that, you put yourself among the elite. Well, you pretty much already are among the elite of all-time Orange County Soccer Club goal scorers. But if you do that, you surpass Milan Olaski and Michael Seaton. He's got a couple pretty good names right there. I mean, I hear that Olaski fellow is doing pretty good. So do you ever think about records or anything like that?
You know what? I never really do. I mean, especially when you're talking about Milan's seasons at OC are pretty insane. Especially from a winger's point of view. It's pretty unbelievable to score the amount of goals that guy did as a winger. I'll just say that I'm very impressed. And then obviously he left. So yeah, I don't really think about records too often though. I think I've had a couple of like weird USL records over the years.
Fastest goal in history.
Yeah, I had the fastest goal, and then my buddy Justin Dillon broke it the following year, I think, or maybe 2 years later, which was kind of crazy. I think I had the fastest hat trick in USL history when I was playing with Galaxy 2. And then I think, what else did I have? Oh, me and Efra Alvarez both scored a hat trick in one game back in USL as well. And when we beat St. Louis back in the team when they still had a team in USL. So I think I have those. But those are like all really random, weird ones, I feel like.
Hey, they're still yours, and that's all that really matters. But that is all I had. And Ethan, I only came on tonight just to talk to you. So thank you for being here. We absolutely appreciate you. I will see you Saturday night at the Champ, and I believe that Matt Elder's got a couple of questions for you now.
Cool.
Hold on really quick. I got to
Yeah.
jump on really quick, and I'm going to try and cover up, but I got to give this to Larry right here. If you can't see it, it's yellow. That's a yellow card on you, Larry, because Ethan gave you a correct answer on your question. You just were not looking for that specific answer. All three of those people, Ethan, Michael, Milan, have led Orange County in goal scoring in a season. So shame on you,
Incorrect,
Larry,
sir.
for calling out Ethan for incorrect answer there.
You might want to check whether or not Michael Seaton actually did lead the team in scoring in his years, because he played
He
with a
did.
guy named Thomas Enevoltson.
In 2018, he had 15 goals in 29 appearances. He led
And Thomas
the
Enevolson
team.
had 20.
Anyways,
All right.
Matt Elder, I believe
Yeah,
you have
go
some
ahead.
questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of wingers, we have a couple new ones this year. I think it's always interesting to hear like a striker, how they develop that relationship with a winger. Is there anything you feel like you do, whether it's in training or outside of training, just to kind of develop that relationship with someone like Jameer, and you mentioned Mateo, to kind of develop a little bit of that chemistry relationship?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the biggest thing you could do, because there's so many different ways and systems that guys grew up in, that they've played in, throughout their careers if they're older. Obviously, Jameer and Mateo are young, so I think Jameer's been in Philly Union system for a long time. Mateo was at Portland most recently, and just everywhere people do things differently. Then the relationship between a winger and a striker, I think, is different in the way that a winger is going to serve you, and the responsibilities that you're kind of taking on. So, I talk to those guys all the time. Some of our practice sessions are catered towards us building that relationship, but a lot of it has to do with us doing work after practice to make sure we're on the same page, because like I said, they've played with guys that are a lot different from me, and I've played with guys that are a lot different from them. So we spend quite a bit of time practicing. We watch film on things that we want to achieve together. So it's a very important relationship to build, and we'll be doing it all season.
I'm excited to see kind of how that looks, and then also a second year of you and Chris getting a little more chemistry and all that. I'm sure is going to work some wonders this year. So excited to see that. All right, I need you to take your OC hat off for a second, because I have to ask you a tough question. If the little one, with the little one, is he going through the Galaxy Academy or the OC Academy?
That's a good question. Honestly, what I was saying though recently was that I hope he plays soccer, obviously, but shoot,
Sure.
maybe he'll play another sport. I don't even know.
Sure.
At this point. I'm like, dang, I definitely don't want to force it down his throat. He'll definitely play it to some degree, but I'm just excited to see him love something, and hopefully soccer is one of those things that he loves. But dang, I'm just excited to share, and sports and soccer specifically. I'm just excited to see him grow up and just love something, which I think is exciting, because me growing up loving soccer was one of the coolest things in my life. So
That's a good dad answer and a great dodge. So I'll let you have it.
yeah, a little bit of both.
All right, Dylan, do you have anything?
Yeah, honestly, Ethan, thanks for being here. Thanks for fighting back to get here. We greatly appreciate it. Do you have any final words for the fans before we start 2026?
Yeah, absolutely. Your guys' time is valuable too. So I'll always, I always want to be there for you guys. You guys are the club's best fans. So I think that's a really cool thing. One day when OC becomes a really big club, you guys are going to be the OGs of that, and the people who dedicated time to making the club what it is. So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate, the fans that, have been growing the club as well. And we're just excited to be giving our best this season, which is what we're striving to do every time. I know sometimes it doesn't look like it, But we're going to be giving our effort every single game, and I'm just looking forward to seeing you guys out there at the games because I've missed that. It's only been 4 or 5 months, but that feels like, I don't know, it feels like an eternity. So we're just excited to get back out there and grind and be in that freaking awesome environment at the champ again. So yeah, I just appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Ethan. Ladies and gentlemen, and children and dogs, your number 9 for Orange County Soccer Club, Ethan Zubak. Ray, would you like to just fill us in on whatever you've decided to do with your time away? I mean, Ethan said our time is valuable, but clearly it's not, and you prove that every moment you're here. So what's happening?
I apologize, Ethan. Thank you so much. You have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, and good luck to the start of the season.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And you guys have a good night.
You too, man.
Oh, see, Ray's decided now he wants to leave.
I didn't control that. That was producer Andy booting me off. I was giving myself a red card because I thought I was wrong. Was I not incorrect?
No. Thomas led in 2018 with 20. In 2019, Michael Seaton led with 13, and Darwin had 12. So yes, the answer was in fact correct, but it was not the answer I was looking for. So therefore, it was wrong, and I'm right.
Just call you guys Kevin.
For the record,
Kyle
I was
Scott.
gonna.
You both get
I
yellow
was gonna
cards.
say that if you were crowdsourcing.
Okay, predictions for this match really quick because we're running short on time. Predictions for the match against Vegas to open the season. Dylan, you go first.
2-1 Orange County.
Brad.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with 2-2. I don't really know what to think of going into this season. There's just a lot of question marks. I'm definitely interested in seeing what our first match day roster looks like, and how that will shape kind of our season as we go, and hopefully avoiding any injuries thereof.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 as well. And last year I think Ethan made a fun game of scoring braces, so I'll go even more specific, a little Zubak brace. 2-1.
I'm just gonna do a repeat of last season's home opener, and that was a 4-2 victory. This time it'll be against Las Vegas instead of Oakland. Should we let Larry answer this because he asked a question and was answered correctly, but decided to scold our guest for answering not the way that he wanted? Go ahead, Larry. What's your prediction?
1-0 OC.
1-0 Orange County. All right. Fun stuff. Are you trying to count there, Dylan?
Yeah, I was just not sure what finger he was going to use to count with the 1.
Oh, okay. I knew exactly which finger he was trying to use for that. With that said, we do have let's just go on this on social media. Post it. How early or at what point in the match does Kyle Scott and or Kyle Partita get a card?
Kyle Partita,
buddy, come on! It's
Kevin Partita.
Kevin Scott,
the first
obviously.
show of the year.
Yeah, Kevin Scott or Kyle Partita. That's perfect. When does Kyle Scott or Kevin Partita get a card in this match? Put it on social media. Share with us. Let us know. Tag us on that so we can see that. If you get it correct, if you get both correct, I will figure out a way to get you some sort of gift prize or whatever for that. But you have to get both correct, and it has to be out on socials before kickoff with the minute for each card. Or if they don't get a card, if you're going to say no cards for either of them, you can say that as well. But you have to be correct on the minutes if you're going to vote for the minutes. You know what? If neither of them gets a card, no one gets a prize. I don't care.
And before he gets a straight red.
It probably gets a straight red. Jeez. Yeah, if you're correct on that, just make sure it's not Kevin Partita. With that said, we're going to wrap this thing up because we are at our time limit. Last comments from anyone before we go. I'm not going to ask you what you learned. I'm just going to ask you for a last comment. Let's go to Dylan first.
Yeah, I did actually have a question, but I will say my comment and then ask my question. Pay your players and provide them healthcare. Ray, is that Kalina giving you a red card there? Oh, no.
Is that who that is?
All right. Well, I'll figure it out while we're away. Brad, what's your final comment?
My final comment is over under on getting multiple jerseys revealed to us on what we're going to be wearing this season, because I haven't seen anything, and you know how I am about drip feeding.
What about you, Matt?
Tottenham are going down.
I knew that was
Please,
coming. I knew that
yes.
was coming. Larry,
Unless your name is Anthony Rendon, ownership should not be able to terminate your contract in the middle of the season for only a percentage of what you actually make. So take care of your players. You want to expand the league, you want to do more for USL and make it a 3-tiered system, great. You're going to need some players for it, so take care of them.
my comment is if you're watching live, you see this background. This is what I imagine Larry would look like without a beard or glasses, giving a red card on the baseball pitch. With that said, I want to thank everyone for joining us today, especially my co-hosts, Brad, Dylan, Matt, Larry, producer Andy, our guest, Ethan Zubak, everyone that was listening and participating in the comments. Thank you for doing so. We appreciate it. You're the reason why we do this, is because we want to share the information with you all, for being supportive and watching and listening to us week in and week out for whatever reason you do so. With that said, thank you for everything. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We are out.